Hi, I'm Josie Perringer, and I am doing a video response for my Dispositions week 3. And first question is, what is SPED teachers' roles in supporting learning, improving, planning, and practicing, upholding professional expectations and ethics, and collaboratively advance the profession? When it comes to supported learning, it is really important to understand our students. We have to provide a differentiated instructional approach that is student-centered as special education teachers. Because all these students have different ways of learning. They require special services outside of a general education classroom. So it is important that we support their learning and be that differentiated teacher that they need that fits their needs. We also need to help them build and establish a skill set and provide knowledge to learning for the student and support their needs. So special educators, we are providing the skill set or tools to build a skill set for these students so they can be successful as individual students and progress to be functional citizens of society. When I say student-centered, this is a big deal in special education because we do have to meet the students' needs, which means we have to get to know them. And that will continue to help us support their learning by understanding their interests, their likes, and how they learn best. To improve means we are continuous learners as teachers. We are encouraging our students to learn and actively seek out information, but we also need to provide the information that we are also continuous learners. That's why we are in master's programs. That's why we go to conferences to establish skill sets and learn different methods of instruction. We need to understand how learning styles cohere. We need to understand different learning styles and work with collaboration with colleagues and our students. We need to work together to make a successful learning plan for our students and develop a better methodical approach to our students' needs and how we are going to teach them and how they learn best. For the planning, we are responsible for creating a learning environment based off the students' needs and determine how they learn best. So we are working with very diverse learners, which means we have to teach from a different kind of teaching method platform. And that can be one-on-one with specialized instruction. We can teach groups, but all that requires strategic planning. When you do specialized instruction, you usually plan to the individual student's needs off their IEP. That is currently what I'm doing right now. And planning has become a very crucial and essential part. So the student is receiving consistency and they can trust us that they're gaining the best knowledge that we can give them. We need to practice. So recording yourself, practicing at home, finding new methods of instruction. It's great to practice at home or kind of collaborate with your colleagues and see how it best fits into your instructional plan, if it is effective or it needs progress or it needs to progress. Areas of critique are encouraged in our educational world because it makes us better learners. Therefore, we need to practice our methods of instruction as well at home. And our students, we need to encourage to practice and seek out information on their own as well. But we can use supported learning for that too. The dispositions that I currently possess that will make me a successful teacher. Out of all the dispositions, I ranked it my top 3 that I find the most important and that I try to practice in my own teaching methods. Number 1, I believe that all students can learn and should set and support realistic expectations for student success to make them functional members of our society. Number 2, promote social justice and equity, maintain appropriate standards of confidentiality, and exercise fairness in all areas, including assessment. So that covers a lot of our teaching methods. And it covers a lot of the ethical practices of teaching as well, with our students' trust and our assessment to make sure that they are progressing or we need to address the areas that need improvement. Number 3, educators should be sensitive to individual learning and social needs of students and embrace cultural diversity, because we live in a diverse world and we need to understand that there are different cultures out there and there are different kids come from different parts of society that we may not be familiar with, and we should be sensitive to their needs and understand that what they believe is important in their world. We need to take that seriously. Dispositions that I need to work on. I'm already I'm in my first year of teaching special education on D3, but prior to my first year of teaching, it required a lot of reflection in how I can be the best teacher I can be. The 2 areas that I see myself needing improvement constantly, and it won't stop after the first year, it'll be a continuous cycle, is promote and support curiosity and encourage active inquiry, trying to get students to talk and be interested in my math class. That's very difficult right now because they struggle and it's hard to get them to ask questions openly. Also recognize that reflection combined with experience leads to growth as a professional. We constantly need to reflect on ourselves and our students to develop our own needs and see how we can be better educators. We also need to reflect on our students and make sure they are progressing and they are seeing growth. If they are stagnant, that means we need to change something up, and that's where the reflection comes into the process. We are always constantly gaining experience, and we should constantly be reflecting on ourselves and students to progress. And biases, the deal with biases is each person is entitled to their own opinion and can be positive or negative. Positive about having an opinion, about establishing your own opinion, is the spread of ideas and a fresh perspective on a subject. For our students, it helps them gain a voice and establish their own beliefs. That's very important for their confidence and growth as a person. A negative about personal biases is not everyone agrees with your opinion. It can come off as threatening or intimidating if shown in a very aggressive light, can make families and students uncomfortable and convey you as untrusting. And that does not work very well with the relationships. That can hurt or dissolve a relationship. It can affect the quality of education by limiting factors of being biased, which means there's be less room for open communication or a disconnect with the family and the community through your personal bias. Also, because of the bias, it gives you a tunnel vision on a specific subject that you have a bias in. So you're limiting accurate and thorough knowledge and replacing it with potential loss of credibility in your own knowledge that you're trying to instill in these students. So, there we go.